Today, religious education. Religious education, in my view, is remarkably difficult to teach, particularly compared to science. If that surprises you a little bit, well then I'm glad. It's nice to be surprising sometimes, and here's my thinking. In science, we're making observations of the world around us. We're gathering data using our senses, particularly the sense of sight, but it could also be through our ears, through hearing, through touch, through smell, through taste. Hopefully, we'll all agree on what we observe, and then we can all hopefully agree on how to make sense of our observations. After all, in science, we're talking about the natural world, the world of objects and materials. So if we can agree about anything, hopefully we can all come to some kind of an agreement about why something floats or sinks. Okay, well, in religious education, clearly we're thinking about religion. Do we expect to all agree in religion? Do we expect to all make sense of our experiences of the world in the same way? Indeed, do we all even have the same experiences to draw on? Some of us might be in parts of the world where people are particularly mean to each other, and others of us might be in parts of the world where everybody's blissfully kind. It's difficult to see how people in those two very different situations are going to draw the same kinds of conclusions about what kind of a world this is. Of course, there are benefits with comparing experiences once again. That can give us a bigger picture, and there are many religious scholars who say that that's a very valuable approach to bring to thinking about the world, in religion too. Even so, we're going to expect, aren't we, that people will draw different conclusions when it comes to the big question of them all: do we think that there's a God who created everything that exists? So it kind of stands to reason that when we get into religious education, we're going to be looking at different people with their different perspectives and trying to make sense of what they believe and also why they believe it. A good way to think about that might be to think about looking at what people believed in the past. Can we, for example, empathize with those people who believed in the past that the sun and the moon were gods? Can we appreciate why the world seemed that way to them and why they felt it was important to worship the sun and the moon in order to keep the kind of consistency that they were hoping for in their lives? Nowadays, we have science. There are many people who think that science is another reason why religion has moved on. So what we believe in religion has core beliefs that are still important, beliefs like God created everything, but we might now think slightly differently about how it happened. Religious education, then, is going to have a lot of different scholarly skills going on. We might be making use of our scholarly skills in science. We might also be making use of our scholarly skills in history. So here you go. That's why I think religious education is so challenging. You're not just focusing on one way of trying to understand the world, you're often trying to move between many. So we could say that in religious education, we're multidisciplinary.